Here we are, another show of Sideline Sports. Jake Malik, Dave DeRocher with us, John Shear on assignment, wherever that may be.
Oh,
Someone will find
goodness.
out. If you see John Shear, please email sidelinesportsnet@gmail.com immediately and
Just
let us
run,
know.
John
We're
Shear.
Just run
excited.
like you would be. Yeah, you just run.
So tonight, I was thinking we need a really good guest since John's not going to be here, and I said we need a Hall of Famer. So, I mean, who better than a Hall of Famer that was a Seahawk, Dave?
I don't think you think of anybody better.
I agree. This was just for you, Dave. Just for you. So, Jim,
You know.
who do we have? Who is it again?
Furthest from a Hall of Famer with the Seahawks as you could get. But you know what? This guy. When people ask about my short time there, and they say, "What was your takeaway? What was something that really was I don't know, just something that meant something to you?" And Steve doesn't know this, but watching Steve Largent not only play but practice. He was a professional. I mean, he was at the end of his career when I came in, and that cat took great. I don't know if he took great pride, but he just did it. And that was he smoked these young kids in practice, and he would lay out for a ball. He didn't need to. It wasn't like he needed to earn his position, But that's how he practiced the game. And when I talk to young people, I talk about playing with Steve Largent, and when he caught a ball, he'd go to the referee, hand it to the referee, and then he'd congratulate his teammates. And it wasn't about him; it was about his team, his teammates, and playing the game. And we've just lost that in the game. It's almost sometimes embarrassing to watch. But anyhow, so Steve's here. All right. So I was talking about just the opportunity for me to be able to be on the same field.
He was just gushing how great you are, which he doesn't need to do, but it's nice.
It's definitely true. I mean,
we all know how awesome you are.
Welcome to the program, Steve. So, we appreciate you taking the time, and I know you're working with the Gridiron Great Assistance Fund right now, which is a phenomenal effort. I know we had a chance to speak with them at the Super Bowl last year about all the work they're doing. So what brings you to working with them, and tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Well, the head coach at Chicago, he's the guy that put together this Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. It's really to help players that are struggling. There's a lot of guys who played when I played, or even before me, that didn't make the kind of money that they're making now, and they're having to have surgeries and different things, and so he's put together this Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund to help those guys that are really hurting, and buy them a bed, or buy them, make sure that they're seeing doctors and getting surgeries and stuff like that. So it's really I think it's a worthy cause, and I'm glad to be throwing my weight behind it as well.
Hey, Steve, the last couple of years I've had the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. I've been asked to speak, and then of course getting to go to certain events. And one of them the last 2 years has been the Dicka and Jaws cigar party. That benefits the Gridiron Greats, and having all the Gridiron Greats there, and that's a great deal. And I'm currently the president of the NFLPA in Orange County, and I sit on the former advisory board. But I didn't know that there were benefits or access to help guys, because I get it all the time. I'm just having a hard time getting a car payment or whatever it is, or just something, not anything big, But so how does a player tap into that or look into being able to get assistance through that?
Well, two things. I think the first is they can go through the NFLPA. And I just met with the guy that worked at the NFLPA. We had a meeting of all the players in Oklahoma for that particular meeting with the guy that was from the NFLPA. And he's talking about all these different benefits that that players have access to. And I'm talking about players that played 1 and 2 years, not players played 3.5 years like I did or you did, but guys that really played a long time. So these guys are talking about that, and that's one resource for players. And a lot of players don't know that, but they need to understand it and have access to it. But then there's another fund that might get started, and it's called the Gridiron Greats Assistance.
Yes.
And you can go gridirongreatsassistancefund.com and you'll find it on the web. But it's going to help those guys that have just fallen through the cracks and don't know what to do or where to go. And
is there any vesting for that, or is it just like?
No, you be vested for just having played on a team.
All right, but they vet you. I mean, you have to be able to prove that you were there, received a paycheck, and so forth.
Right.
But then you can apply. Interesting. That's great.
Yeah,
You know, one of the things I happen to love, now that I've been around the game and the former players for a little bit, how charitable you guys are. Like, people don't realize how much you guys give back. Like with Dave's foundation, you working, Steve, with the Gridiron Greats Foundation, and the other things that all the other different players are doing. It, nobody really knows about it. I wish that there was more publicity rather than just, seeing the games for 12 hours on Sunday. You guys are pretty great people. It's phenomenal to see. And I mean, what you guys are doing right now with the Gridiron Greats, you have the Pork Rind Appreciation Day, which is in conjunction with the Super Bowl. It's the Pass the Pigskin Sweepstakes. What's going on with that?
Well, that's right. And the thing I was going to say about what your comments was that you're absolutely correct. There's a ton of guys that are former players that have started foundations that are helping in their community. They're helping in children's hospitals. They're just doing a lot of stuff for the good. And I think that doesn't get publicized enough. But this is an effort. I mean, when you talk to players, that's great. They're doing that stuff for all their community and stuff like that. But what I'm talking about, it takes it up another level, which is NFL players helping other NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
It really is like a fraternity once you play the game, that guys will rally around you if you need help and come to the rescue. And that's really what Mike Ditka's done with his foundation, and why I'm so enthusiastic about supporting it.
Hey, Steve, I'll tell you right now, you mentioned those things, and right now I'm actually at Fort Lauderdale. I live in Orange County, but I'm out here doing a NFL transition coach certification and learning. We did a suicide prevention certification 2 days, and then now they're doing we're actually part of a NFL wellness kind of an event that's over the next 3 days, and there's mostly younger guys, couple years removed, and it's amazing. And I would say there's probably 30 young men here with some of them with their spouses, and talking about. And here's what one thing was, unlike some of us older guys, Ken Rutgers is here, and some dudes are here that played back in the day, and they played for one team.
Uh-huh.
These young men are saying, I played 6 years and I played for 7 teams, because of the free agency, right? It's a little bit different hearing them, but the whole coping with transition, and it's great to see the older guys be here for the younger guys and talk about successful transition or those hurdles that you're going to have, and helping the young guys to avoid those pitfalls that we didn't have. We had phones attached to a wall. We weren't accessible, So
the other thing I was going to say about that particular case is that, we know what players are dealing with once they get out of the league.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, the league itself has caught on, and the NFLPA has caught on, and they've really focused a lot of their efforts on those players make the transition out of football. And so I really tip my hat to them for, making the effort and recognizing players and the struggles that some of them have.
Yeah. So, all right. So now we got to get back to pork rinds, because pork rinds are raising money for the Gridiron Greats, right? That's for the whole purpose.
And they're pretty phenomenal pork rinds, by the way, just so you know, because I had them shipped to me after the Super Bowl last year. I'm not a huge pork rind fan, but let me tell you, they were delicious.
I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah.
I'm from the East, Northeast. Pork rinds are not huge, but let me tell you, they were good. I mean, quality stuff.
Yeah,
they're giving away A cash prize of $5,000.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So the awards that they're giving are pretty substantial. So I hope a lot of people will go to the website, Pork Rind Appreciation Day .com or something like that, and
That was
sign
it. Yeah.
That's it.
compete.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to, not only do you get, it's a small batch pork rind, which I can tell you they were delicious. I'm from the Northeast and I'm telling you that. So that's telling you how good they were.
That's a good
Hey,
point.
Hey, Steve, do you remember the name Greg Townsend?
Uh,
All-time sack leader for the Raiders. He played back.
right. Yeah.
He just texted me. He goes, "I'm gonna buy some pork rinds."
Nice. Look at us selling the pork rind.
That's right. I'm selling, bro. We got to support it. We appreciate your time. We know. So
That's a good start.
So
That is great.
So now, as far as the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, so obviously there's the Dick and Jaws party, the cigar bash at the Super Bowl. Are there any other events or ways for people to get involved and donate and help other former players?
Well, there is the website that's set up, and they folks can go to that and find out what's going on at the Super Bowl and what's going on with the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, and that we certainly encourage them to contribute money to that fund. And like I said, it doesn't go to all the rich guys that are making all kinds of money today. It's going to the guys that played when I played or before I played, and they made $20,000 or something, and had off-season jobs every year.
Right.
But these guys are hurting now from playing in the league, and so I'm just doing everything I can to support them and help them.
I'll tell you, Steve. My rookie year up there in '88, league minimum was 60. I had to actually play in the basketball league in the off season to pay my bills, to make sure we got to the next season. So, for guys like us, and my nonprofit is called the First and Goal Project, and it helps people in transition. And we help veterans and people that are struggling in transition. And one of those demographics are former players, and they're guys like me that are 10 to 20 years removed, and only played a few years, and don't have all the perks and benefits, but are still brothers. And it was difficult for me when I first started this to hear, because I had a successful transition and I did well for myself. But a lot of guys don't, and I'm like, man, we can make a difference here. And so all these things, we appreciate you coming on to create the awareness and point people in the right direction for those that want to help us, as old guys that could use a little bit of assistance, because they watched us. You're going to be on my show next. We're going to do Hawk Talk here in a little bit. And we have some of the younger guys on. Walter Thurman won the Super Bowl, and Trey came in a little bit after him. But we have guys from our era coming on the show that made a little bit less money. But the other thing we have coming on is the 12, and the 12 all talk about the Kingdom days. They talk about the Chuck Knox days. I was there back when, and those are the guys we're helping.
Yeah,
those are the guys we're helping.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I think about too when I think about helping Mike and his efforts with the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. It's not the guys that make millions of dollars now that I'm concerned about. It's the guys that didn't make anything or next to nothing, and are just happen to be struggling right now. So I think it's a great effort, and I'm proud to support it.
Well, hey, buddy, we appreciate your time. Jake or JB, have any other questions for Steve before we let him go and take a little break?
Absolutely.
Well, definitely get to porkrindappreciationday.com.
It still kills me. Because the last, Steve, I had to tell you, man, Gridiron Greats did not surprise me. But when he said pork rind appreciation, I'm like, okay.
Dave, they're great pork rinds.
Is that how you?
That's what I said too.
I gotta know.
Dave, wait, Steve, you're killing me here.
I had a pork rind. I understand.
Dave, listen, I didn't play in the NFL. They're great pork rinds. What are you guys doing? Listen, everybody in Atlanta, if you're listening, go to porkrindappreciationday.com and order the pork rinds. You'll appreciate it. If you're not in Atlanta, if you're watching us on NGBN across the world, get there now and just order the pork rinds. Trust me when I tell you, you're not going to be sorry. Jake, you there? Looks like you froze.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
That's
So
good.
if I'm still frozen, I'll refresh the page in a second. But I can't miss the opportunity to talk to Steve Largent and not ask him about two things. First of all, you and Dave were talking about players transitioning, and I think the first thing that comes to my mind is I feel like every former player, and this is why I ask you is, it's a really hard transition to not play football every day, to go from football is literally everything in my life, and especially you as such a great player that you were, to I don't get to go do that at all every day. So just I wanted to get your insight, just what that transition was like, and how you can maybe pass on some wisdom to guys that are, as they transition away from football, because I know that's something you're probably doing right now. So I'd love to hear that.
Well, I think maybe one of the greatest experiences I had in the NFL, and this is going to sound odd, is that I was drafted by the Oilers. They cut me after training camp, and we just are not going to keep your services, and we're going to put you on the waiver wire and see if anybody will pick you up. So they did, and the Seattle Seahawks picked me up because Jerry Rome, who was my college coach, had gone to Seattle the same year that I was in the draft. So guys in Seattle, we got to get this guy. And they were still, the Seahawks were in their first year of a franchise. And so everybody was coming and going in Seattle. And Jerry was the guy that really was responsible for me getting to Seattle. And fortunately, he had installed our entire passing game that we had at the University of Tulsa. So that was really nice for me to come into a system that I understood and knew how to adjust, and all those you have to do as a wide receiver. It was easy for me to do because I had been doing it for 3 years at the University of Tulsa. But anyway, it was I can't remember what I was talking about now.
We're
But
talking about transition.
yeah,
Transition. You left the game.
yeah. So yeah, it was. I felt like that I was coming to a team because they're the first year of franchise, the Seahawks, that everybody was getting to know everybody else. There was no established veteran players. There were no established rookie players, and everybody had to kind of, pick it up and move forward with it. We had new head coach, not Chuck Knox, but Jack Patera, and we were all kind of learning how to play the game and how to do different things. But it was a tremendous experience for me, and I loved doing it, and I loved playing, and so it was just a heck of a lot of fun.
I can only
That's
imagine.
awesome.
I mean, yeah. So the only
All
thing
right.
I had to ask, and again, I couldn't help but ask, you and Jerry Rice had a small overlap in your careers, and obviously being around at the same time, and you played against each other plenty. I'm just curious, as an all-time great wide receiver playing against another all-time great wide receiver and being able to stand and on the sideline and watch him. Just what did you see that he did that made him so great? And were there any things that maybe you guys both did? I'm just curious to pick your brain about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think Jerry was in his first year and maybe in my next to last year. So we played San Francisco every year in the preseason for one of the games that we played would be against the Niners. So I'd get to see Jerry at least once a year. And the thing about Jerry was, and this is not talked about a lot, at least I've never heard it talked about a lot, but Jerry really worked at his game. It didn't come easy for him. He really worked hard, and I really admire that about him as I watched him grow and grow as a receiver and see him get better and better. But it didn't just happen to him. He wasn't lucky. It was because he worked hard at his game, and I really admired him for that, and still admire him for it.
And I think, Jake, to your question, I think it's probably Jerry watching Steve is where he got.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Oh yeah,
that's why I asked.
When you can see one of the best at the position as you're growing,
That's
I remember
that's why
I remember those games in Candlestick, and I don't know if you remember this. Ruben Rodriguez, we punted it out of our own end zone, and he punted it up in the air, and it was up in the air, and it just stopped, and it went out of bounds at our own 6. His punt went like 6 yards because the doggone wind in that stadium. That was brutal, and I wasn't playing, so that wind's like cutting right through my back. And I'm just like, oh, this game almost over. Anyways,
Well,
all right.
Steve, I want to thank you for your time and giving us the opportunity to help promote the Gridiron Great Assistance Fund. Everyone go to porkrindeappreciationday.com. I'm telling you, do not sleep on this. Order your pork rinds now. They're small batch, so order them before they're sold out. They don't. It's not like it's
they make a great
name
Christmas
brand
present.
that they have.
They're stocking stuffers.
Listen, if you're not ordering them, you're missing out.
That's right.
Steve, I know you're busy and you have a lot of other shows to promote this on. We appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully, we'll see you Super Bowl week and you can come back on and we can talk to you a little bit more. But thank you again for your time. It was an honor to have you on the show.
Thanks, guys. I'll look forward to seeing you at the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Guys, that was Steve Largent, NFL Hall of Famer, Seattle Seahawk. Another Seahawk, Jake. It's like we're outnumbered here.
Doesn't make
you know what?
I'm not going to apologize because that you guys saw firsthand what I got to see for a couple of years, and it's just a great.
He's a great guy.
He's a great.
He's a great man. Yeah,
a great man of faith, and he just conducted himself that way every day, and it was contagious. And I will tell you, when some of the kids started acting a fool, it was like it didn't take but a second. And Steve stepped in and go, "No, that's not how we do stuff." Well, and Chuck helped with that too. Chuck knocked out
sure.
too. Yeah, but anyhow,
Yeah,
so that's good. Now this is good. Still can't get over the pork rind thing, but I gotta move on.
Well,
what can you get past?
You got topics.
Well, hang on. I think I have a little bit of information on the pork rind thing because I found that a little bit last year.
All right.
So basically, I believe, if I'm correct, it's some of the old-time players are involved in the pork rind business, and it's a small batch thing. It's kind of like boutique, and they kind of work together to build each other. And it's a really cool idea. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Chevy and Nasty. We appreciate it, guys. You guys are great as well. Can't wait till we get to meet each other in February. They're also part of the NGBN family. They'll be on the show at some point so we can promote their great work. Chevy was a former NFL player for the Dallas Cowboys. Also won 2 Grey Cups up in Canada. Nasty, his teammate up there. Great guys. But I think that's the story of the pork rinds, just so you know.
You played with Damon Allen?
You could probably let us know. We'll find out. But you know what? There was a clip I saw on social media today, and we're going to bring Raphael in a minute. But Raphael, pay attention to this clip. You're not on the air yet. Jake, play the clip for me because this is like supernatural stuff.
It reminds me of The Simpsons. That's exactly what it makes me think of. It's like what they did. All right, you guys got it? All right.
Yes. Can't hear it, Jake.
You can't hear it?
No, there's no sound.
All right, hold on. Let's try. Technical difficulties. I apologize.
All right, while he's fixing it, just so you guys know, there was this great movie years ago called Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And, if you don't know the movie, if you haven't seen it, if you're younger, go watch it. It's a classic. So Eddie Murphy came to America with Arsenio Hall, and he's working at a place called McDowell's, which is kind of like McDonald's, and he's talking about football. And it's a very Simpson-esque moment when I saw this posted on Facebook today. And I have to say, Michael Price, wherever you are, whatever you guys do on The Simpsons, how you do it, I don't know. But you guys do. Michael Price, friend of the program, does a great job writing for The Simpsons and all the other writers there. They just predict things that are going to happen. Do we get the clip fixed, Jake?
Yeah, I'm getting on Messenger right now on Facebook, actually, because I can share my audio from there.
All right, while you're doing that,
okay.
So Chevy said played against Damon. So Damon, I played in some golf tournaments with him recently and trying to get him out to my tournament. And it was amazing to see what a career he did have up there in the Canadian League. So looking forward to meeting you there, Chevy.
All right, here we go. This should fix it.
Actually, I worked with Damon at Thrifty Warehouse one summer, or summer jobs. He didn't do nothing.
Dave, you really just threw him under the bus there, huh?
Yeah, I told him that when I saw him. I go, Damon, you didn't do nothing. He's a quarterback. I'm hucking cases of oil. Stupid offensive lineman. Damon just stood around and did nothing.
Fair enough. JB, do you have the link to the post? This would make this much easier.
It isn't killing me.
No, I do not.
This better be good.
It's really,
it better be really, really, really good. I could maybe come up with another story.
I mean, I have it via text from somebody else.
doesn't help.
No,
I'll try this,
right.
but I don't think it's going to share the audio, unfortunately.
I have it via Instagram for you, Jake. If that'll help you.
I will tell you that the Simpsons have predicted a lot of stuff. I've seen clips like.
Yeah, try it with the Instagram reel. See if that helps you.
Let me try this real quick. Tell me if you hear the audio.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
No, it's pixelated.
No, didn't think so.
How about just
I don't think you're going to get audio if you don't give me a link. I'll try this. Try last thing.
All right, we're going to try one last time. If you're listening in Atlanta, listen, we gave you Steve Largent. Deal with our technical difficulties for 2 seconds.
Enjoy your drive to work.
I know it wasn't.
As we try to figure out.
I know it wasn't Andre Rison
to watch.
Okay, I got it.
I know it wasn't Fanwood Rising. Oh, we got it, guys. Here we go.
Here you go. Oh man,
I did it.
First radio show ever.
Greatest show to ever exist.
Oh, and there it is. Nope. Oh, got it. Nope.
Oh, hold on, relax. Don't worry.
No.
Listen,
right,
here we go.
I can restart it and I can play the audio and we'll get it.
I'm waiting.
I was wondering,
Everybody's
did you
waiting.
have a professional football contest on television last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was most exhilarating. The Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay. And in the end, the Giants triumphed by kicking an oblong ball made of pigskin to a big H. It was a most ripping victory.
That was it. That was
Listen.
admittedly a little disappointing.
It was a very entertaining video clip for the radio show.
Listen, we gave them the movie setup.
Oh,
If you haven't seen it,
Oh,
go watch
Jimmy.
it. Watch Coming to America.
All I'll tell you is this:
Very Simpson-esque, like
being at that game, it was very cool. And Tommy DeVito, I mean, they love him. I mean, we all do. I mean, I'll give us that. I mean,
what do they call him? They call him meatloaf.
Tommy Cutlets. Dave,
Oh,
it's funny
Cutlets.
you say that.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because for lunch today, I said, you know what? It was at the game. They won. I went with my buddy from work last night to the game. He and I grabbed lunch today, and we both said, screw it. For lunch, we're getting chicken cutlets in some way. So I got a chicken parm. He got another sandwich. He's taking over New Jersey. I mean, this is like.
What do they have to do with meatloaf?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. All I know is we've got off the rails.
What?
Raphael, welcome to the show, Raphael.
Boy,
Dave,
you guys really know how to kill a streak going. I mean, you had Steve Largent, and then you're trying to play.
Steve Largent, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And we're talking about cutlets.
And then you're trying to
And
play
we're
a video
doing
that's
a video clip for our radio audience.
that you actually reference Simpson-esque when it wasn't even close to a
Really
Simpson
wasn't.
prediction. A guy kicked a field. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
I was waiting for
32
Bart
teams.
Simpson.
Of course, one of those times they were going to come close and kick a field goal to win. You guys killed.
You know what? You know what's funny about that?
I'll give you the soccer clap.
But when the Giants beat the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, guess what? They got it right then, too. Did they predict that game as well?
No.
But it was a night game they were talking about.
It was.
They were talking about a night game.
But I enjoyed the Steve Largent thing. I was watching it before I logged in. I met him twice, and I remember digging deep into his after football career because he ran for the House of Representatives, ran for 4 terms.
Congress. Yeah, he's in
Got
Congress.
beat by a Democratic. I want to say his name was I think it was Brad something. I can't remember his last name, but yeah, because the year 2000 is when I really started diving into political odds and stuff like that. And I just thought, wait, Steve Largent, ex-football player, is running for something. So, because I think he tried to run for governor in Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But I met him in a couple golf tournaments in Vegas. Nothing but a nice guy. So I really enjoyed that interview. And I'm going to order some pork rinds because there's nothing better than a good bag of pork rinds. Nothing better.
Oh, Raphael, they are phenomenal. They shipped them to me after the Super Bowl. Oh my God!
I have it right here. I have
hope I get
the
some
site
this year.
right. I have the site right here. The sea salt and cracked black pepper is already on my already clicked on.
And they're small batch, so they're not mass produced. They're good stuff.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm excited for that. But a great interview, guys. Great interview. He was seems like a really genuine guy. Great stuff. Yeah. Too bad.
So, Raphael.
Oh, hey, wait, Raphael. Guess what happened when I put it in my my parlay this weekend?
You lost.
I went 0 for 3 in a same game parlay. I didn't hit any of them. It was awesome.
There's my
Raphael, real quick.
I don't feel bad.
Raphael, we need odds right now. Raphael, Ohtani signed with the Dodgers.
Oh boy,
a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I mean, what did that do to the future baseball market?
Really nothing. I mean, they're not the clear favorite.
Really?
I think they're plus $5 or $5.50 to win the Rose. They signed a guy that has nothing to do with their needs. He can't pitch this year, so it's not like he's going to be able to pitch. So, do I believe in the money he got? Yeah, because they're going to make that money up. Here's a perfect example. There's like 3 shopping centers that have total rents, empty spaces for rent, right close to the baseball stadium. The day he signed, all 6 locations, all their rents were full because people are probably going to open up places there. Just the economy alone. It's going to probably make his money. And then how he did his structure, he's only going to get paid
I was
$2
just going
million
to say
a year, and then he's going to make Bobby Bonilla's contract look like nothing. So I think that's brilliant for what he did. And this is what me and Dave were talking about, how the people in Japan and China and how they look at views and how they're always about the team. Ohtani's camp did this for the team. They have so much money now where they can sign pitching this year and next year. He just didn't want the upfront money like we see some of the athletes around here. He wanted to help the team. How can I better the team? How can you guys build around me and this team? Nothing but brilliant for his camp and himself. It's totally different what we see here in the States and athletes.
He got
Speaking
paid.
of building, hang on, Jake. Speaking of building, let's talk about building a bankroll on mybookie.ag. So, great weekend of football.
Well, let's backtrack it, because you know how I love me some NFL conspiracy. Why is there 3 Saturday games on Saturday in the NFL when the bowl games start? There's 41 bowl. What, the NFL can't have college football and 182 college basketball games on Saturday? But no, we have to have 3.
They do this every
not 3
year.
Not 3.
No, but they always have a game.
Yeah, at least
I'm just saying they always do a Saturday game.
Yes, this is always the last few weekends of the year. This is the way it's been for how long? And it's more action at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, I mean, there's 41 bowl games that start on Saturday. So UFC 298 is also on Saturday. We have over 162 college basketball games on Saturday. I think 13 NHL games on Saturday.
The reason they do that, Raphael, is for me. Because I have no interest in any of those 6-6 teams playing a bowl game. Basketball and UFC, that's a mess. So they do it for people like me that I actually go, I'm so happy college football is over. I get to watch NFL on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
But this is I'm going to backtrack and say you're wrong in this, because now I get to watch teams. I'm glad that these people, I'm like, I'm going to take the bowl game off because I'm going to be concentrating on NFL. Now I get to see people who didn't get that chance. That because
they're not good.
No, yes, there are. Look at DeVito. He won 2 bowl games. So I beg to differ.
They didn't get on the field for a 6-6 team. That's not what I want to watch. You keep telling me I'm wrong, because I want to watch the NFL.
You want to watch Minnesota?
Oh, you can watch what you want, but
Minnesota,
a lot of people want to watch the
with
games.
backup quarterbacks.
Yes. Yes, that's quality.
So Dave,
that is not quality. Hold on.
The NFL primetime schedule this year, which has been horrible. You've enjoyed it just because it's the NFL.
What's that? What?
The NFL primetime schedule this year, which has been awful. There's been 2 good games in primetime. You've enjoyed watching all those games just because it's NFL games?
I just like watching the NFL. You know, I will tell you half the games haven't been very good because half the teams aren't very good. But
That's also
it's
true.
only 16 weeks out of the year, man. It's not even a quarter of the year. I just need me some NFL because it's almost over already.
Oh, it's not
I think
16 weeks.
I went through faster because I'm on here every week with you guys talking about it, and I gotta look at the games and think about it.
We're
rather
going to
than
be
just
talking
get up
about
and
it when
watch.
that combine
hope
comes.
they-
It's like all of a sudden the
draft.
doggone thing's over. I don't watch any of this.
No, it's 18 weeks plus how many weeks in the playoffs plus Super Bowl week, preseason, draft, combine. It's
Overkill.
over half the year. It's
Overkill.
over half the year.
No, it's not.
Regular season's not. That's his point.
All of it's off.
Thank you. Wait,
Daniel
Stroud.
Denzel Snipes is Stroud the strong down rookie of the year in Texans 7-6, but go primetime games. But you know what? CJ Stroud showed his rookiness last week, and he needs to be careful because the Rams are playing much better, and Puka can steal some votes. We have 5 weeks where CJ Stroud may be careful because their schedule is tough at the end.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he had a good stretch, but that's been it. I mean,
I thought the Rams look like they're about to beat Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, you
they
called it,
look
Dave,
good.
a couple weeks ago that don't sleep on the Rams. So kudos to you. You've called it a couple weeks ago. So their defense is playing well, and they have wide receivers that probably played in 6-6 bowl games, but now they got their shot and playing well.
don't forget they've got a great run game right now.
Thanks. Thanks for the props. They also picked Seattle as my upset game of the week, which didn't look so bad at halftime.
No, it did not. It did not look bad, which was good.
But then the Niners turned into the Niners all of a sudden.
The books did pretty good on the first half of that one. Just like last night, everyone had Miami. No one took Miami the game. They took Miami first half -7, and so that was
over on that.
That was a nice.
I didn't watch that game. I was at the Giants game, and kind of glad I didn't watch it. It looked not great.
They were. It was an ugly game.
Both the games were ugly. I know you were there, Jake, and I know you're a
no,
fan.
it was ugly. I don't deny it.
Yeah, both games were
I
ugly.
think I went 0 for 4 on that one because I took Green Bay in the under, and I took Miami covering. Did they cover?
No.
Yeah, I took Miami to cover and the over. So I went 0 for 4 on that parlay. Boom.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, for people that go 0 for 4 on parlays, there is a great.
I mean, I didn't even hit one thing. Like some cats will hit
All right, hang on. Hang on 1
second.
second, Dave. I got something important to go over right now.
Okay,
So,
help me out.
So there's an organization in Atlanta called Covered with Love.
Yeah.
They are doing a drive this Saturday at the Kroger in Dallas, Georgia at 455 Nathan Dean Boulevard, accepting donations from 10 a.m. to noon on December 16th. You can bring, whatever you can do to help needy families stay warm, blankets, hats, scarves, jackets, beanies, anything, socks. Make sure they're individually wrapped. They're there again from 10 to noon on Saturday at the Kroger in Dallas, Georgia, 455 Nathan Dean Boulevard. It's a great organization with some great people, really great. Speaking of giving back, Gridiron Assistance Fund, which is phenomenal. Cover with Love, a great organization in the Georgia area. Make sure if you can, go out there and give out some stuff to that great organization. Sorry for cutting you off, Dave, but I just thought, we needed to
that's more
get
important.
that out to the community.
Absolutely. That's more important, man. Anything we can do for the community and promote what's going on, especially this time of year. That's worth cutting out for.
Couldn't agree more.
and Dave, you're giving away too. You're being generous, helping Raphael's
You are. You're
wife
such a
go
generous
shopping.
guy.
You're doing that P word again. We spoke about that.
Yeah, Dave said a bunch of bad words being mentioned on the show. Dave said the P word, and Denzel Snipes said the L word. He said Stroud is still a lock, so there's no such thing as lock in gambling. So right there, CJ probably blows his knee out. Throws 6 picks next week.
Oh, don't even say that.
So
I hate the word lock.
Denzel said it. I didn't say it.
You put into the universe that he just blows his knee out. That's
actually, I love the word lock because Drew Lock looked really good in that Niners game. It looked a lot better than
Are you guys going to keep it interesting?
I would say it was good.
Are you guys going to keep it interesting on Monday night against Philly? You got Philly in the ropes right now.
Well, I guess you have to tune in Sunday morning to get my upset pick of the week.
I wonder what that is.
I couldn't possibly guess.
It's the New York Jets over Miami. That's his lock.
Sunday at noon on WDJY in Atlanta. You guys will get to hear Dave's upset pick of the week. Let me tell you, man is on fire.
You know what? I've done the Seattle thing out of obligation. I'm done. I'm done being obligated. I'm gonna get serious because when I get serious, the only 2 times I think I've lost is when I picked Seattle to pick to be my upset. Just because I love them, but I'll get back to being serious about it.
He's going to get so serious, he's going to pick Seattle again.
Make you get some money. No, I'm done with it.
You say that now, but when it comes time, you're going to go, I got Seattle again, because that's what you always do.
Yeah, but that's not going to be my upset pick of the week. I'm going to take it because it's a primetime game. They didn't give me my upset pick of the week.
Seattle's no good.
I'm still going to take it. Okay. Come on.
Okay.
Those are Eagles.
Dave not take Seattle. Hang on. Dave not take Seattle is like John not taking Miami.
Exactly.
We all know what's going to happen.
A chance to win.
Is John Knight here because he's still
he's recovering
up in a ball?
You know what it is, Ralph?
He was sick before that. So
for why his Dolphins are so fraudulent, because I have said this for weeks and I'm going to say it again. You lose to the Titans now, you are a fraud of a team. I'm sorry. They have no defense. They are literally all offense. And last night they played a defense that shut them down just enough, and their defense on their end I'm convinced they didn't even show up to the game. Like, all they had to do at the end of the game was make one stop. And I wasn't even watching, but I can rewatch, the game, and I can look at the box score and look at the plays. I don't think they could have stopped the nosebleed. I mean, they were they were gifted a second touchdown on offense, and then all they had to do was make one stop, and they couldn't do it. I mean, it just, they're frauds.
Tennessee's going to be a hard out for the next 4 games. Levis is getting more comfortable week after week. The wide receivers are getting more comfortable with him week after week. Tennessee, whoever they have to play their next 4 games, I would want to play them right now because they got momentum. Henry's running like
looks good.
Henry.
Yeah,
I would not want to play Tennessee, and I think my Houston has to play Tennessee twice. So let's say if that defense.
They better pray CJ's okay.
CJ better be ready for it.
Yeah. No. I mean,
so what do we think about Dallas? I mean, Dallas looks, but they do this every year, man. They're the top offense, top scoring, they're the top everything, and then they get to the playoffs and they flounder. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think the biggest difference in this Dallas team that I've seen in the past is their offense has not averaged 40 plus a game. Even when they won the Super Bowl, their offense wasn't because they were more a running game of Emmett back then. But their offense looks really, really cohesive right now. They're balanced. Even though I still think they need that 2-punch and a running back. Pollard can't do it all.
Yeah,
I was kind of
Dowdle's not enough.
That's why I'm shocked I didn't get one in trade, just another bag just to get that 1-2 punch. But let's face it, 49ers are still the creme of the creme in the NFC. But I have Dallas right there, and them two are 1 and 2, and there's people way far back. I put the Eagles far back. The Lions, they're dropping like crazy right now. It's just pretty much a 2-team race.
I love
what is going on with them?
It's just the defense.
What's happening with them? It's
all about defense. They can't. They're second. They're just like the Eagles. You get past the Eagles, the D line and their linebackers, and they can't tackle up in the safeties and the corners. They're just really. I've noticed a lot lately that there people just trying to strip the ball and not tackle anymore. It's just bad. Again, bad product on TV, and some of these teams are getting punished like that. You see the Eagles all the time; they're trying to strip and not tackle, and they don't get the strip, and then the guy's still getting 6-7 yards because he didn't tackle the guy; he went for the strip instead.
Hey guys, I'll tell you right now. I don't know if you know, I'm in a hotel room. I'm here in Fort Lauderdale for the NFL transition coach certification. We're doing some suicide training, but we're also doing a wellness event here with younger former players that are transitioning. And I will tell you that tackling is a huge topic here. With when you got some guys here, when you have Will Shields, Hall of Fame here, when you have Mike Haynes, Hall of Fame here, and we're talking old school football a little bit. Kenneth Rutgers, Packers Hall of Fame is here. And we're talking about old school football and then what we're watching on TV. And part of it, their hands are tied because they're all getting fined. They're all getting fined for making tackles. So then, if you want to tackle, then let's try to strip the ball. It's so different now. It's almost sometimes frustrating to watch.
It is.
Well, you just said it's frustrating to watch. We heard it. We have it on tape.
It is.
Yet he's going to continue to watch anyway, which is the funny part. No, I mean,
I think Dallas is going to be they're going to be a hard out, especially if they have home field. They're going to that home field right now is tough. It's not that same old Jerry's world where you can go in there and steal a victory.
Man, if they play the 49ers, though, I just don't trust them still. Like,
I agree with the 49ers. That's it. That's the only team I don't trust them with. That's the only team I don't trust them with.
And come on, you and I both
think
know
also
that
where they
chances
play
are it's coming
Philly.
down. Chances are it's coming down to 49ers and Cowboys or 49ers and Eagles, most likely. Like it's one of those combinations. And in either case, I mean, I'm still picking the Niners. Like I don't know. The Cowboys look great. Don't get me wrong, but I can't trust them. Like I'm convinced it's something about the Niners. It's like their kryptonite. They just they see it. And they're like, I can't win.
Well, let me ask you guys. MVP 2-team race. It's pretty much Purdy and Dak. Who do you guys have? JB, who do you got?
No way, Purdy. And if it's Dak, why bother having an award?
Jake.
The MVP is McCaffrey.
No,
that's another story. That's another story.
Between the two of them, I'd probably have to go with Dak. As much as I don't like it, it's hard to compete with the way he's playing. It's just plain and simple. He looks probably like the best quarterback in the whole league right at the moment. I
think McCaffrey takes votes away from Purdy, and Purdy takes votes away from McCaffrey. That's right. Right now, it's either going to be Dak, or if for some reason Baltimore takes over the number 1 seed in the AFC and plays really well. I think it's between Lamar and Prescott. But I mean, again, I still don't understand how Tyreek Hill is not getting anything mentioned. I would have him closer to McCaffrey than I would have stuff like that.
I think I'd choose them both first.
The problem is neither one are quarterbacks, and they both should be MVP candidates because they're both the MVPs for their team, which is,
Yeah, I agree. Just like, I mean, they invited Harrison to the Heisman just because they wanted a non-quarterback. That he had no chance of winning. I had a better chance of going to New York and winning the Heisman. But that's another part of how I hate college.
Raphael, you had a vote. I voted for you.
Yeah, I think when we discussed this earlier, it's McCaffrey's the Offensive Player of the Year and Purdy's the MVP. I like Purdy starting out. He hit a rough patch and he bounced back like a pro. And I think what Denzel's saying here, I mean, Purdy beat Dak. And he doesn't. The kid does nothing but perform week after week. Yes, he's got a lot of talent around him, but so do all the other NFL quarterbacks that are winning.
Of course.
So I just like the kid. I think he plays well. He plays beyond his years.
Oh,
and he handles himself well. So that's to me, that's my MVP. He's been a very steady quarterback.
So my question for you, Dave, do you think he's the leader of that offense?
To be honest with you, I believe that he is. From what I hear,
okay, that's fair.
From what I hear, is the guys rally around him because of the way that he conducts himself as a young player. And
That's a fair assessment.
I will tell you this. There was another one. Cam Newton was a young player who was, always in the conversation for MVP and stuff when they were doing well. But I'll tell you what, in that huddle, they didn't like him.
Yeah.
And
one thing I want to point out with Purdy that John's not here, but I can hear the little voice in the back of my head giving me the baloney excuses that he's going to give me, which is, oh, well, he's got such talented playmakers. They do all the work for him. And I just want to squash that right now because I saw something the other day, and I can't find exactly what that said, but the gist of it was that Purdy's yards after the catch is actually lower than like Rodgers when he won MVP. And a couple other of the more recent MVPs. I don't remember exactly who. And I happened to be looking it up, and I did find this, which is what's really impressive and kind of defeats that argument, in my opinion, which is of all his throws, only 47.8% of those passing yards a season have come after the catch. And now that sounds like a lot, but when you compare that to all the other quarterbacks in the NFL, that's 17th out of the 32. That's really, he's like middle of the pack. So to anybody that's going to try and make the argument that, oh, well, his playmakers are doing all the work. No, he's not, because he's a really accurate thrower of the ball. He's got a great deep ball, and he has done his job continually all season. And none of you are making the argument, but I know the argument exists out there, and I don't want to hear it because it's just inaccurate to say. Like, it's just,
I think the 49ers offensive line needs to get a lot of credit.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, it gives McCaffrey the holes, and it gives Purdy the time to do his stuff.
I'll tell you, I was at the game. I was at the game up in San Francisco, Levi Stadium, and watching that game. There was never a doubt. As well as we played in the first half and stayed close, there was never a doubt of who was going to win that game. It's when McCaffrey ran the ball, he ran at will. To your point, Raphael, the kid back there had plenty of time, and I'll tell you, when he threw a pass, he just laid it right in there, man. It just wasn't. They struggled a little bit. Our defense sparked up a little bit, got a couple of sacks, got a little bit of pressure, but you could almost sense that it was like one-offs. It was almost like, okay, well, we made a play, but
So here's my question for
you.
you.
It says we had a chance to win that game. I'm just telling you.
Getting back to the Purdy for MVP thing. If you take Purdy, right, pull him off the 49ers and throw him on Seattle, is he nearly as good as he is right now?
Absolutely.
Please do. Oh, he's better.
I'll tell you why. What did I just tell you about his deep ball? He's really good with it. He's extremely effective. What does Seattle have, in my opinion? One of the best deep threat wide receivers probably in the entire league, and he's not talked about enough, unfortunately. Tyler Lockett is a speed demon, and if you give him a chance to get down the field, I think that's what he excels at best. I mean, he's great across the middle, don't get me wrong, but if you give him the deep route and Purdy gets the ball to him, I think they would make an incredible connection.
That's one of two deep threats.
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely.
DK can get behind any defender.
Yes.
The problem is you can't get him the ball. They underthrow him every time.
Yes.
You're absolutely correct. So Purdy has two guys. He has Ayuk and he has Debo. And I'll tell you what, Debo controlled that game. We talk about Christian McCaffrey. Without Debo, I mean, that's a close game.
Debo's a beast. Debo is a beast as well. They have really, if you think about it, four guys on that team, on that offense, other than the quarterback, Purdy. And this isn't to be disrespectful to him, but you have Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, and McCaffrey. Just think you're not really losing anything at any of those positions. You have a top three tight end, two really great receivers, a top three running back. You're pretty stacked, and you're on. I'm not saying he's not number one, but you could debate. That could be debated. And you look, it's insane. That's why.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, they have a great defense too.
You could probably put almost any quarterback on that team, and I think that they would be successful. I don't think it takes much. That doesn't mean that he's not doing the best with it, because like you said, he did have that 3-week stretch, and he bounced back phenomenally. And that does take someone that has talent, because you don't bounce back if you're not good.
and you're not confident. But so in only that, there's a lot of coaching aspect to this. I was watching a play that they're running. They're running Kittle pulling, and or he was in motion, and then as he passed to the center, he snapped the ball. He would be the lead block on the end, and they hand it to McCaffrey. And I'm sitting there watching that like 3 times, and I go, you know what's going to happen? That son of a gun's going to release on one of these, and they're going to be sucked up because McCaffrey's running all over him, and it's going to go. And that was the final touchdown. It was like no surprise. I'm like, thank goodness they finally ran it, because I saw
Thank God I was right.
A mile away. You know what? And if you're not a linebacker knowing that, hey, they're doing something that's successful, and they're going to do it sometime to set you up for something different. And it's Kittle getting released on a fake block and play action, boom, touchdown, like 40 yards, and he laid it right in there. So, there's coaching too. They've got great coaching.
They do. They have great everything. That's what it comes down to. Everything they do is great. Ralph, are they the Super Bowl favorites?
Who? 49ers, yeah.
Niners.
Yeah.
Good.
Money
Good.
wise.
What's dropping now? Because I put 100 on them when they were they were playing plus 800.
Ooh,
Nice.
good for you.
Where are they at now?
Hey, that might be the best bet you win.
They're probably like plus 350, 4 to 1 around there.
I can cash in there, I bet.
You could probably see there's a couple of sites where you could sell that ticket.
Huh. Like if it was real money.
No, you can actually sell it. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. You're right. My bad.
Excuse me.
Nice thought.
Well, speaking of real money, go to mybookie.ag, use code Sideline, get that 50% deposit bonus, and start playing now. $50 gets you 75, $1,000 gets you 1,500. And you're listening to us, Sideline Sports. Make sure you're following us everywhere. It's on the bottom of the screen, and Jake will tell you all the places now.
Absolutely. You guys can find us on Twitter or X, if you want to call it, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, just everywhere you could possibly think of any social media you use. You look us up, whether there's Sideline Sports or Sideline Sport 1. That's Instagram and Twitter. That's Sideline Sport 1. But you just look us up. You'll find us wherever.
And don't forget about NGBN, DBTV, Alumni Media Network, our 3 great partners, which we love being involved with. We're pretty much everywhere. Dave's down in Florida right now. Raphael doing what he does best, making odds on bowl games. I'm seeing, and all sorts of great things that I'm getting in my email.
Making sure we don't make money.
We'll make some money. We're not going to do the P word, so we're going to make money.
Yeah, take the under and don't do the P word. Good idea. Those are good. Those are good plans, at least as far as Raphael is concerned.
All right. Anyone with any last thoughts before we get out of here?
I think Dave.
Hawk Talk's coming up with.
Hey, Hawk Talk with Steve Largent is coming up. We always have a great 12. It's Justin, who's the head coach on Orcas Island, of all places. Saw him at the game. Just like I always tell everybody, our 12 is just random. He was at the game. He was hanging out with us. I said, hey, Coach, you want to come be on our show? We didn't know Steve was going to be on, and he's going to have a blast. Anyways, check us out and be good humans. We'll see you next week.